Welcome back to another episode of the Chaosium House RuneQuest campaign. I'm Jeff Richard, and I'll be your game master tonight. As always, I want to thank my players, Claudia Loroff, Linda Borgen, Richard August, Philip Glass, and of course, Neil Robinson. Why don't you all introduce yourself and your characters?
Hi there, my name is Neil Robinson, and I am playing an Orlant adventurous called Nisk. You may call him lucky or unlucky, but he's known that a lot of people around him tend to fumble.
Okay, I'm the next wolf pirate in the pack. I play Colbrast, the one-armed, as he's named at the moment, due to the fact he only has one arm. And Orlant Thunderous pirates. Yeah.
That's right. We figured out where your arm was cut off, didn't we, Philip?
Yeah, we'll talk about that during the game.
Excellent.
and what the solution is to that problem, in the sense of if I can actually still use a weapon and stuff like that.
Go ahead. August. I'm playing Garan Grimseeming, a Humacti bodyguard, who is passionately devoted to Argrath.
Okay, I'm Linda. I'm playing Ankala. She's a Stormbull warrior going towards a more spiritual path. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'm Claudia. I'm playing Gina Ghostfriend. She is actually an Analder believer, but very strong in Tychor attack. So she's doing a lot of dancing on graveyards. She's coming from Esrolian in a desperate need for somebody who's doing a proper Esrolian hairstyle in Pavis.
Okay, well, every week I like to ask a different person for a recap. So this week, hey Neil, why don't you give us a recap of what's gone on?
Let's see if I can make it up about the great heroics of Nisk and his companions. If I remember, and I probably don't remember well, this was the taking, right, of our great manor.
Yes.
And what we did was rather than decide to go with the rest of the gaggle and the Praxians and go through the front, thanks to Colbrast's cunning plan, we went over the river gate and we climbed over there, fought all those, and then went into the middle and drove them all off. After that, I'm just trying to think of the best way to describe what we tackled. Actually, I don't remember enough, Jeff, to do that. I'm going to pause this. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Yes, I'd love to give a recap. If everyone remembers last time, we actually took over the largest manor in the rich part of town in Pavis. And that entailed us basically bluffing our way in, scaring the mercenaries, and then getting the merchant to give up the loot and the place. So one great thing about having this, and probably a characteristic of some of Jeff's games, is the fact that once you've got something, that's when the problems actually happen. So in our case, what happened was the Praxian said, wow, great. You've got the biggest manor in the place. You've got the best place. Thank you, we'll take it. Okay, probably not a great thing. So our small band decided to stand up for ourselves. And I basically goaded him, was probably the best way Nisk did. And we also had Ankala go up on the roof and bang her drum and basically shame them as well into doing that. But we knew that this wouldn't last. So what we did was we decided and presented to Argrath, our sponsor, a whole pile of Hazia, also known as a drug, a narcotic, for his ritual, and the place as well, and offered to dedicate it to the White Bull. So be it a holy shrine area, or be it a bar and a place where people can come for drinks. That's what our plan is, and we're trying to work and finalize all that so that we're able to have a base of operations for a small little group as we continue in the beautiful city of Pavis.
Beautiful city of Pavis, which I need to remind everybody is probably about a quarter of the town has been burnt down following the sacking of the city by your side. What was that there, Garen?
Slightly quarter. We've left all the nice bits.
Yeah. Shall we say yes? Rich Hill, because there was lots of valuables, was taken largely intact. But there are neighborhoods where the Praxians, for one reason or another, decided to light fire to the neighborhood, pull down buildings, etc. The sort of thing that a victorious nomadic force does. Very much something straight out of Lawrence of Arabia. For all the players to get a mental image of things, I posted a few links to the fantastic 1963 film Lawrence of Arabia with Anthony Quinn playing Alda, who is the equivalent of your Bison Khan. But New Pavis has definitely seen better days. And to be honest, Nisk, when the Lunars took the city, it was a lot more organized and probably a lot less damage to the city than when you guys took the city.
Do I look like a Lunar?
No. And does it look like you care? Probably not.
As a good Orlanthi, violence is always an option.
So what I would like to do is you all have made your experience checks, I believe.
Yep.
The other thing you get to do is you can pick some occupational skills to check off that you haven't used. So pick, I believe, Neil, it's 4 skills, isn't it?
4 occupational skills.
And by occupational skills, all it means is skills that are pertinent to what your character does in their regular life or adventuring that you haven't gotten an experience check in. And the idea there is not to limit how your character improves purely on the stuff that you do on screen. There's a lot of things that your characters likely are doing that may or may not have gotten into the little flashes of activity that we have on adventuring sessions. So this is a good time to check off 4 skills. You can roll anytime you want to see if you improve in any of them. But you don't need to do it right now unless you really feel compelled to do that. The most important thing that goes on is this is a few weeks after the taking of Whitewall, or during the weeks following the taking of Whitewall, are 2 major religious events. The first one is the High Holy Day of the Orlanth cult. And every character here is either an initiate of Orlanth, raise your hand, an initiate of an associated cult of Orlanth, be it either Orlanth's brother or Orlanth's lover. Yeah, Claudia, Ernalda is an associate, even in Israelia, it's an associated cult of Orlanth.
No, she's a wife.
Oh, yes.
So Orlanth is associated to her.
Well, yeah.
Sorry. Get it right.
And Humacht is also Orlanth's brother and traditionally provides ritual defense and such during these ceremonies. So anyways, the High Holy Day of Orlanth is super important, though, for Kolbrast and Nisk. This is the big offering of sacrifices. And the main thing I want to point out about this is at this High Holy Day is when Argrath is acknowledged as the king of Pavis and sets himself up as the Orlanth Rex of this cult. I am assuming that the 2 of you guys, how are you down on Argrath setting himself up as...
I liked him so much, I got the t-shirt. All I'm saying.
Yeah, he's okay.
So by doing that, most Gloranthan societies are mild theocracies. there's no difference between the political leadership and the religious leadership. They're the same thing. You know, the most important priest is usually the local ruler. And what all this is Argrath establishing himself as the most important priest in the Pavis area and the head of the Orlanth cult. So, but it gets him a cool title. The Zebra Riders all swear to him and swear loyalty to him in this. And even the priests of the city god Pavis are forced to pay homage to him. So it's a great for you. It means though, it's beefalo for everyone. You know, big bison. None of you guys belong to a vegetarian cult, right?
Nope.
It's food aplenty. Food aplenty. Claudia will write down the recipe of Orlanth sacrificial beefalo.
Yep. I will. We'll go into the cookbook.
The other big event takes place a couple weeks later, and that is Sacred Time. And if it's okay with you guys, did everybody read the little short essay that I sent on Sacred Time? Sacred Time is for everybody in Glorantha. That is the most important religious festival, and it takes place across the entire world simultaneously. And during the 2 weeks of Sacred Time, all God-worshiping people in the world act out their sacred myths of death and rebirth. Every cult, every culture, every species has an important role to play in preserving the cosmos. Everybody summons their gods and spirits, and the physical world trembles with the presence of the gods. Even the cynicism of the God learners, of humanist materialists, could never taint these critically important rites. And ever since the first dawn, your people have gathered regularly at the end of the year so the cosmos can be reborn. You all celebrate the good and the bad, the living and the dead, and the actions of the gods and the heroes so that everyone contributes to the rebirth of the world once again. And so during Sacred Time, all normal activities just grind down to a halt. It is it is a festival unlike normal life that we all as players experience it, because during this period, all the normal social rules are suspended and everything is centered on reviving the cosmos. And I'm putting a lot of time into that because it is such an important event for your characters every year. It's like, it's, you know, I am not going to presume to know the religious beliefs of my players, but I'm assuming, I'm going to hazard a guess that most of, like most people in the modern world, we all are not extremely religious. But I want you to imagine a combination of Christmas plus Easter plus Hanukkah, Rosh Hashanah, all thrown in and taking place at Burning Man.
With all that Hazia that we collected.
With all that Hazia, but also that suspension of the ordinary rules. Carnival, Mardi Gras, all of that rolled together into a massive and important 2-week ceremony where you all are convinced that the gods walk amongst you. And they do. This is Glorantha. If you're truly convinced of something, it is probably correct. So during that, I don't know if is this when you all are trying to set up the shrine, but are not able to invite the white bull spirit yet into your shrine?
Correct.
Yeah.
We haven't. We want to do that soon. Wonder if our assistant shaman can help us.
You can certainly make forth the space, but your mentor, the shaman that you periodically come into contact with, Nkala, he does not believe that the time is right for you to you to confront yourself. He says you've been too successful.
I can make a little death shrine.
And he's such a fatalist, that guy.
Oh yes, he thinks you have that a true shaman must understand suffering and misery, and he doesn't think you have.
Uh-oh.
Well, I don't mind standing at day 7 facing chaos to show that I am not afraid of facing misery and pain, and I'll even let myself die on that day.
Which is impressive for your mentor, but then he looks at your fancy manner, your loot, your jewelry.
I don't have any jewelry. I gave it away.
Oh, okay. You gave away your jewelry.
Yeah, no jewelry. No.
He wants you to be able to prove him things like you can stand on one foot for a whole day.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah?
I will. Are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. Roll. I think this is a meditation roll.
No, that's not my best skill.
Well, that's why he picked it.
Let's see here. There, okay.
A whole day. A whole day.
Yeah.
What's the longest any of you guys have actually stood on one foot for?
10 minutes, maybe. A good day, maybe. Oh, okay. If I could just point my camera down, but that's a 03, so it's a special.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
I don't think
You
it's actually-
spent... Oh, hold on. Zoom in.
Can I zoom in? Is it possible?
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Well, move to the right a
Bit to the
bit.
right. Bit to the right.
Okay. I'm moving them, but I'm not touching them. Okay.
I believe you.
03. I did it.
03.
Yeah.
Well, Nkala, I am amazed. From dawn to dusk, you stand on one foot.
Yeah, we're quite shocked too, to be
Yeah.
honest.
It is the most miserable, and pardon my swearing here. I've received a memo that apparently heavy swearing is to be avoided in these sorts of recorded videos, but it is the most intensely aggravating, frustrating, and difficult fucking thing you have done in your whole damn life.
Yeah.
It's tougher than fighting a brew. And you're covered in sweat after doing this for 30 minutes, and you managed to do it from dawn to dusk. And right before dusk, your mentor goes up to you and he pushes you. Would you roll Dex times 1?
Oh, well, that's
Pushes you.
With friends like these.
no, not even close.
He says, that's exactly what he says to you. Not even close.
Oh.
Come on. How does Nkala feel about this?
Excuse me. How I feel? I get really angry. Of course I get angry. But I know that this guy anger doesn't work on this guy because he's so fatalistic that everything's just whatever to him, unless they're talking about saving the world. So.
But you do manage, it is pretty awesome. I don't know, but for the rest of you, Gina, that's pretty cool that she can stand on her foot for a whole day, isn't it?
Yes, it's cool, but I want to put a death shrine in and nobody wants to have that.
No, I think you can definitely do that. It makes sense. We have a White Bull shrine too. We can definitely have an area where you can have a nice alcove with the areas to Tychor attack and all that. I don't think that's an issue at all.
Are you guys going to set up a
what I can do is, I can put a bad wind to your shaman teacher Ankala, so he falls over. How is that?
Oh, Gina's going to try to curse the shaman?
Yeah.
Oh, but I have no real ill feelings towards this guy. He's
You
like,
should.
Why?
Because he made you fail.
Well, I made me fail. I couldn't stand on that foot. I should have expected him to do that because that's what the kind of guy he is. So I failed.
Be proud of yourself. He's commanding you around.
He's just not proud of me.
He's a man.
I need him to be proud of me. One should think so, but no. No? Okay. No, I need to find a way to get around this guy. I need to do some thinking. I go smoke some Hasia and do some thinking.
I'm sure you'll come up with a very brilliant plan.
Now, I want to point out that the what happens when you smoke Hasia is it has the same effect as the discorporate spell. Yeah. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to wander around the spirit plane. And you have what, 10 packs, 10 of these little packs. And I'm assuming each pack is basically, do we think that's the amount to do one full discorporate spell? Or do we think it's more than that? I don't know. I want to feel, because I'm afraid that we've never worked. This is a horrible shortcoming in almost 40 years of Gloranthan writing, is we've never really worked out the dosage size. I could consult another fine Chaosium publication, the Berlin Book.
Oh.
But I mean, it sounded like quite a big box full.
Yeah, you got a pretty big pack too.
Yeah,
so
and if one pack is one spell, and the whole box was about 15 spells.
Yeah.
So we're assuming it's like opium, right?
Really?
Well, opium, not being an opium fiend myself, I'm afraid I don't know off the back of my hand how much opium it takes to get so high as your spirit wanders into another world, but I believe it's about a pipe full. Anybody else have? Does anybody else have?
That's very accurate.
Yeah. Does anybody doubt my GM's decree upon this and insist on further research, or shall we?
Depends on the size of the pipe.
Yeah.
Well, describe. Because this is RuneQuest, describe your pipe.
Oh yeah, no, it's carved from bison horn. Yeah, I don't like bisons.
Yeah, okay.
I have like
one
huge, yeah.
I've never seen Linda. I know you're Norwegian. Have you ever seen a bison horn?
Yeah, not really, but I know it's gonna be big and it's gonna be strapped on my back.
So one pack
with my axe and this, yeah.
So one pack will probably not be enough to fill the bison horn.
Oh, but I'm probably like dumb. There's a hole for it, like on the top, and you use your hands to with the air. So yeah, that works fine. People smoke out of bottles. You can probably smoke out of the bison horn. So
I fully accept that is your. Richard, poor Karen is just looking in disgust at this Stormbolt cultist who sits around going, and then wanders the spirit plane for the next several hours.
No discipline.
I will say that for each, and I'm going to do this for every character, for each for each of you, the containers of Hasia that you mark off from your character, I will allow you to have a set of experience checks on the full range of basic spirit-related magic skills. So that would be spirit lore, spirit dance, spirit combat, and I believe there's one other, spirit travel. Is it spirit
travel? Yeah.
I will allow, but it means marking off one of your units of Hasia. So that's not for every time you smoke it. It's for if you get rid of a full. What was I calling this before?
A bundle or a package or something?
Pouch.
A full patch.
Pouch.
Yeah, a full pouch.
Pouch, yeah.
So the question I have for you characters is your Hasia consumption during sea season a full pouch, Linda?
Yes. Yes. It is my traveling. He robbed me of my traveling. Now I'm doing it myself.
All right. So I just want to let you guys know that Ancala spends most of the next season as an opium fiend.
Typical decadent Orlanthe.
She's not Orlanthe.
She's
a
a Praxian.
Stormbolt Praxian. You don't even know what language she's speaking half the time.
Well, that's because she's high as a kite. Nobody does.
Spirit speech probably gets a check.
Oh yeah, I'll let you get a check on spirit speech.
Just reminded me.
So I want to get an idea what your guys' basic rhythm is for the following season while you're here in New Pavis. We figured it out for Ancala. Let's go over to Gina.
Oh, I go regularly to the graveyard. It's actually, isn't it in rubble? I know that I...
Yes, the main... So the customs here in Pavis for the people in the city is they burn their dead and then they place the ashes inside special crevices, recesses in the giant wall of Old Pavis. So there's basically a part of of the wall that has all these recesses carved into it, and it has thousands and thousands of funerary urns going back 1,000 years.
It's very interesting. I'm studying them because I find this interesting. Maybe I can communicate with one of the older spirits to learn something, which are still hanging around, especially during the night, if you give them the proper offers and do some rituals and so on. I mean, I will also, because it is my business, I'm of course working and prepare corpses and dance for funerals if this is necessary. Even if I have theoretically enough money now to not have to do it, but I'm still looking for an Esrolian servant. So, and the best is to get into, to do some work, to spread the word that I'm still looking for somebody. Because I need somebody who makes properly my hair. I'm looking awful. I mean, look at my makeup.
So, I have to say, you look pathetic by proper Esrolian high fashion standards. They probably wouldn't even let you in. It probably wouldn't even let you in the necropolis looking the way you do. Mm-hmm. I mean, the coal you have around your eyes is a little better.
It's not the right black.
It's a little better than charcoal. You look like a raccoon. Come on.
They have nothing. Like they do not have the right ingredients this year. I mean, usually I mix a little bit of spices in. That's a black red. And here they don't have it. I mean, we are living in bumfuck nowhere.
You're trying to be the incarnation of the goddess of death in the underworld. You look more like the lame goth chick in a small town in Indiana.
No, it's not that.
What?
No. Oh,
Oh,
it's very offending.
To your character,
Yes.
or to the great state of Indiana.
No comment. So I'm still searching for somebody. I'm even taking somebody from, I don't know, maybe I can train somebody. But
Okay, I'm going to allow you to do two things here, Claudia. First off, would you roll against your worship tyke or a tech?
Yep.
This is important, and you can augment this one, but this is basically how well you were able to be accepted in your self-appointed task as the
04.
Oh, how good is your worship tyke or tech?
60.
Okay, that's very good. You basically assert yourself as the mistress of the dead for the necropolis of New Pavis. They don't have any Taikora Tech initiates in Pavis.
No, they have.
do it. Yes, they now have a dedicated grave dancer, and that's pretty awesome. Now the bigger question is whether you were able to train one of your servants. Remember you guys hired a bunch of servants?
Yep.
And I'm going to base this on your culture Israelian role.
Where do I have that?
It'll
I
be
hope
a
you
knowledge
do.
skill.
And my cult lore is the
Culture.
customs
Customs.
Israel. Yes, I have that. Okay, let's see. Yes, a success at 29 and a 55.
Okay, name this poor new Pavisite that you have taught all of the important skills of braiding, of oiling your hair, of properly teasing it out and applying makeup and mascara. Please name this poor servant because he or she is the only one in the city who seems to know how to do this.
Olgor.
Ogor, so it's a male.
Yes, yes, of course.
All right, so Olgor,
A young man.
who is
With
played,
muscles.
yes, he's played by the same actor that, if we all remember, do we remember the movie Blazing Saddles? You know,
Yes. Mongo?
Mongo. Mongo, the same actor who played Mongo, who is a different actor than played the giant bald guy in Stir Crazy, another fantastic Gene Wilder film. But Claudia, do you know who we're referring to?
No, not at all. But can I tell you who Olgor is?
I'm going to tell you what Olgor looks like, or I'm going to let Rich describe Olgor. And then you can tell who he is.
Yeah, Ogor is huge, extremely muscly and burly. He wears like a thin green waistcoat, but nothing underneath it, and a kind of sombrero.
And he's bald.
And he's bald.
Shaved head.
Completely shaved.
Okay, Claudia, the rest is up to you.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, I chose Olgor because he's so good in braiding and doing the makeup, because he likes to do that with his lovers. So that's how it is.
So you're also Ogor Mongo's lover.
No, I'm not. He likes men. He does not like women.
Okay.
That's the reason why he's so good with braids.
Something new we have learned about Mongo Ogar. That is, so you have everybody assumes that Ogor is your bodyguard when in fact he's your hairdresser.
Yes.
Let's move on to what is Garen doing for the sea season. And every Gloranthan season, by the way, is 8 weeks long.
I am going to be spending some time doing my best to learn about things like the techniques used by the Black Fang.
Hey.
They slipped past me, despite I'm a Humacti, I'm a bodyguard, and they used, they were able to slip past me basically without me noticing for a lot, until they were in dangerous proximity to the person I was looking after. So I want to be able to, basically I want to spend some time improving my capacity to defend people.
Well, there is a thing you can do, Garen, in the cult of Humacht. Humacht hates assassins. And you didn't ask for that gift, did you?
No.
You could spend the entire, this is similar to Inkala trying to stand on one foot. You could basically spend the entire season covered in ashes in the Humacht temple, starving yourself and denying life in every possible way that you can. And by that, I also mean the material comforts of life. I mean, how high is your death rune?
85, I think. Yes, 85.
Okay. One of the ways death rune is the opposite of the life rune. And one of the things it is separation from ordinary life. You could basically try to spend a season on the floor in the Humacht temple, eschewing, material comforts, eating and drinking the absolute barest you need, and then trying to cut that down so that Humacht will give you the gift, Sense Assassin.
That sounds like a pretty reasonable use of my time. Let's do it.
Hey, roll against your death rune, my friend.
That is a success. Just 70.
Okay, let me grab a pre-release copy of the manuscript for the Cults of Chlorantha with the awesome expanded Humacht write-up. And all right, Humacht's gift in this case is you begin the Sense Assassin magical skill at 30% plus your magic bonus, which is
plus I can't find it. Where is it? Oh,
right above
10.
your magic skills.
Yeah, 10.
all right. In exchange, you get a new geese from Humacht. And your geese is never participate in an ambush.
Whoops.
You're totally useless now. I mean, you can stay at home and be the house human.
Maybe if you had a semblance of honor, Corblast, this wouldn't be the position for me to be in. If you had a trace, a shred.
On the other hand, let me tell you how awesome this skill is. And Sense Assassin is an awesome skill. You can tell me, I want to roll against my Sense Assassin to know whether anybody present, let me in fact read the carefully written description of this skill in the rules book, unless somebody has the rules book handy. Who has, here it is.
Here, this one?
Yeah.
Yes, go to Sense Assassin. which is a magical skill. And it is actually, like Sense Chaos, it is actually a really awesome skill. This skill can only be gained through a gift from Humacht. Successful use of the skill allows the user to sense that a nearby person within 50 meters intends to assassinate someone the Humachti is currently attached to. So if this person plans to assassinate somebody that you could care less about and have no contact with, or it's irrelevant to you. But for example, if somebody was intending to assassinate Argrath or one of his followers or any of the player characters, the skill would work. Whether a clan member, part of a temporary adventuring party, a permanent fealty relationship, or even the Humachti themselves. This sense does not tell the Humachti who the intended victim is, but does point out the assassin. Does this sound like
useless?
What?
Not so useless, eh? Colbrast could be quite a useful thing to know.
Might be. But of course, you're not allowed to sneak on the assassin.
Oh no, I would
Just go up and say, "Aha! I see you're an assassin," and
Duel me, please.
give him a
Yes.
business card.
unless you would tell us about him, of course, or her.
Anyways, that is how Garen spends CCs, and that's pretty awesome. Let's jump. We know how Ankala did. Let's jump on to Mr. One Arm. Mr. One Arm, it's going to take a long time for your left arm to regrow.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. So not 8 weeks.
Fortunately, it's your left arm.
Yep. So what I'm going to do during the season is I'm going to find someone who can build me a battle shield, which is basically a sharpened shield with prongs attached. So I don't have to alternate between a broadsword and a shield and a dagger and stuff. And then train with it.
So you're going to train, how do you want to have the shield in your right hand then?
Yeah, so, strapped to the arm and holding it and basically fighting with the shield.
Okay, so you're going to try to find a bronzesmith that's going to make you one of those funky weapons that we shared around on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got basically a broadsword and a shield attached to it, and you use it to attack and parry with the same skill.
Yeah, and ideally the shield itself would actually have a sharpened edge.
This is kind of cool. What do you guys think of this?
I think it's about as, unique as Colbrast.
It's a sort of thing.
I spent like 3 years with this man.
Yeah.
He comes up with all this stuff all the time. It's great.
It's something that you saw once when you were in Fonret.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ocean.
So
let me come up with a total off the fly cost for what this would be. And then I'll tell you what your starting skill is at it. Your starting skill is not going to be as good as you currently are with broadsword.
Obviously, yeah.
It's a wildly... How good are you with broadsword, by the way?
75 and medium shield at 83.
Okay, you're going to need to spend... It's going to have the equivalent of a small shield. Right? Combined with a broadsword. But the nice thing about it is that they're two separate things. So you can parry with your small shield and your weapon doesn't get damaged.
Okay. So
Which is-
I'll put down two different, or use two slots for it, basically.
And the other nice thing about it is you can use it to try to block things that can only be blocked with a shield. It just doesn't cover as much territory as a medium shield. And you start at 50%.
Okay.
But I'm going to allow you your first experience roll on it because you're trying to train yourself in it.
Yeah. 50, you said, huh?
Yep.
By the way, what are the modifiers for melee weapons and shields? Is that right?
Manipulation. It's all the same. Manipulation.
Oh, okay. So that's plus 10. So 60 or lower, right?
60. Actually, to gain experience in it, you want to roll a 50 or higher.
You
51.
get to add your manipulation bonus.
Yeah. You want to
That
roll
doesn't
a
double count.
skill to improve by experience.
I want to roll higher.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, of course I do. Yeah, I forgot about that.
The idea is the better you are at something, the harder it is to improve.
It's obvious, actually. Once you... Okay, so that's 26. So no.
Okay, finally, Nisk, how do you spend sea season?
Well, I don't know if, I talked about this probably off camera, but at Sacred Time, I'd like to devote some more POW to get some spells from the local, the local Orlanth temple. And considering we have
Who, you just happen to be a follower of the High Priest.
It could happen. There's a high probability. And I'd like to get Earth Shield and Lightning if I could. Those are the big things that's it's part of the ritual as we sacrifice magic points. Each time we put a magic point into our rune point in our pool, we're able to actually get another spell. I know that costs a little bit of money, but I'm willing to pay that.
And it also reduces your power by 2.
Correct. So, but I think those are more Sacred Time activities, if that makes sense. Actually,
Sure.
what I want to do during the storm season is actually get this place up and going as a place to make money and a shrine. I have been, kind of been living on my own and wheeling and dealing for a long time. It's a great opportunity if we'll do that. We obviously, as a group, we need to have income coming in if we're going to hold this and have bodyguards and have people and stuff like that and connections. And we need more alcohol. I remember that I am owed a significant debt, and that is from the Garhounds, because when I was in service of the Garhounds, I was exiled for killing someone and doing it for the Garhounds. So I'm going to go to them, and I'm going to go at one point do a trip out to them, and they're just a little bit outside of Pavis, and I'm going to negotiate with them to try and get some alcohol and do some trade in return for some of the debt that they owe me having been exiled, and in return also they get the opportunity to know that I don't know how related the Garhounds think of Argraf, but they've got a guy who's a well-known companion at some level.
For the rest of the players and our viewing audience, the Garhound clan is the most influential local Orlanthi clan. Now, that doesn't mean that much to most of your players because with the exception of Neil, of Nisk, none of you guys are locals. But amongst the local farmers, the Garhound clan are very influential. And also amongst the inhabitants, the native inhabitants of the city who are tired, may not be as enthusiastic about Praxians riding their bison or their llamas, or worse, their rhinos, as fast as they can down the streets of the city, knowing full well that everybody has to get out of their way, or mercenaries like yourselves who have basically set themselves up as petty lords in the town. The Garhounds, the normal people respect the Garhounds. And so the question I have for you, Nisk, are you going to go to, I'm going to give you 2 contacts. with the Garhound
Mhm.
clan, and you're going to pick one.
Sure.
One is actually in the city, and this is Burga Scissortongue. Burga Scissortongue is has multiple times been the mayor of New Pavis. Now, currently, that function is carried out by Argraff personally. But she has traditionally been the leader of the Sardarite community inside of New Pavis. She controls the cloth industry in the city. Or there's her cousin, Chief Davos Garhound, who's one of the biggest landholders outside of the city.
Okay, well, I think, though, I don't know if it makes the most sense, I've met Chief Davos of Garhound before, I think.
Yes.
Just because, when I was working for the Garhound, that was back outside the city, not inside the city, when I first picked up the sword. So I'm good to go and try and get an audience with him, I think would be more appropriate.
Okay, so he is the ruler of the village called Garhound. See how this all works, guys. And he's played by Henry Fonda, circa Once Upon a Time in the West. I think that's probably who plays Davos Garhound. Davos Garhound, he's a Sardarite. At his core, of course, he's a killer like all the Sardarites. He's done some bad things, but he now tries very hard to present himself as a law-abiding, decent landowner.
Okay. And I am trying to present myself as a law-abiding, decent guy trying to set up a shrine and do some trade. Was part of it.
Now,
Discussion.
I would imagine what you look like at this point in your life, Nisk.
Mm-hmm.
Give a description of how much you pass yourself off as a. I'll let you roll a customs Hjortling roll to see whether you try to come off as a law-abiding Sardarite, or you come off as a world-traveling adventurer who hangs out with Hasia smoking Praxians.
Do you want to propose my custom Praxian roll?
No, your custom Hjortling.
Okay, I roll a 53, and my custom local is 75.
Wow. Gina.
Yeah,
He's the only one who can pass himself off as a local.
it's okay.
Pretty impressive.
It is. I do not want to.
All right, what's your deal with that you want to propose to Chief Davos?
And basically, I'll be clear. I've got some trade goods. I've always had these. And let them know that I'm setting up a place in town and shrine with the support work for Argraff, and I am quite willing to name drop because it is for him, even if he doesn't like Argraff. My guess is it's still important. And that what we're trying to do is, and I'm just basically trying to get in, call on my favors, and that I was a loyal guy who worked for the Garhound before I went off into service, having been exiled for the Garhounds. And
were you outlawed?
I was outlawed while serving the Garhounds for killing a non-Garhound.
Okay, I want to know who you killed.
I don't know.
This is your opportunity to create your own story. Who did you kill? Did you kill a lunar?
Well, no, it was not a lunar. It was if I remember from the character creation, I killed a respected warrior who was better than I was. And at the time, I was still very young when I first picked up my sword. If I look at the time and we look at when that happened, it's probably about 12 or 13 years ago. Does that make sense timing-wise here? Yeah. So I probably could be a lunar that I killed. Although, unlike most, I don't really have a huge hatred of lunars per se.
Did you accidentally fell into your sword, which you let lay around or something like that?
You may read it as you will. After all, I am Nisk the Unlucky.
Gina, I think he
maybe just stumbled on it.
He accidentally brutally shaved somebody to death.
Would you like me to cut your hair?
No.
Exactly.
No.
All right, Nisk. So, who did he kill?
I think it's a lunar or a lunar sympathizer, or something like that. Non-Garhound. I don't know. I mean, there's some families I don't remember that were some lunars supporting families in the area, and it was probably something that the Garhound were being pressed by from trying to take over their lands. I don't know enough otherwise.
All right, that's a pretty good debt to call in. I'm not going to make you roll on anything because that is a solid debt. Davos is willing to. Davos will acknowledge that he is sorely stretched on grain and supplies by the demands that Argrath and his Praxians make. But he'll sell to you what you need before he will sell to Argrath.
Wow.
That's nice.
But at the same price, basically at the current price.
Okay. Basically, I'm just trying to build up this thing so that we don't just magically run out, because we're going to make our goal is to make money on donations and not donations, some other tithes, and also basically manage it as a successful shrine.
Now, one of the lousy things is that this is Pavis County. This is Taos. Who I think, I'm not sure. Have any of you guys ever been out to New Mexico or Southern Colorado other than Gina? I sent some pictures to get you guys kind of a view here. Is this good wine country unlike Sartar or the Holy Country?
Wine country?
Yeah, well, exactly. So you guys have, 16 amphora of amazing wine.
Yeah, but we wanted to... No. Last game, we said we watered them down.
Yes, you did.
We have 80. We have now 80 amphoras.
Yeah.
Because we know that in Pavis, nobody knows how good wine tastes. So we kept a little bit for ourselves because I know how good wine tastes. And actually... let's buy some beer.
That's what they have. They have beer.
In fact, that's kind of fine. We'll just take what we can get.
We keep the wine for ourselves.
And our special guests.
They have loads
the
and
special
loads.
Guests do not care. They're all from here.
I wasn't born here.
Yeah.
You're not a special guest.
You're not a special guest.
He wasn't born here. Go, Brett.
I never said that special guests should get something.
So you are able to set up a supply of beer for you all. I want you to do one other roll, though, Nisk, and that's from your household manager.
All right. Okay, I roll a 41, and my household manager, let me just scroll down here, is 55.
You know that although this means that you are at least can resupply yourself, you're not even breaking even at the end. And the big issue is that the White Bull Spirit is not here.
No, I'm just trying to hold out until the White Bull Spirit. If I don't do this, we don't have a chance to get the White Bull Spirit to bring it.
No, because you would have run out of wine already.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to set up and manage this place successfully. And I'm pretty good, for some reason, pretty good at managing this stuff, because I think, judging by when I grew up, Argrath had me help do a lot of this sort of stuff for him. Be
So
it,
the question I have is you've converted the swankiest villa on Rich Hill into basically a Praxian tavern.
you probably have a couple of other rooms that aren't tavern, are a little fancier.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is
thank
a question. Do you guys reside on the upper floor away from?
Can you give us a picture again, because this picture actually showed a bunch of front shops which we can convert into the bar. Remember the picture you showed us last time?
Can you guys give me a moment and I will look that up for you guys, because I believe I put it into the White Bull thread, didn't I?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nisk, even though I'm smoking like all the time, it is actually to try to help you.
Between
But
pints.
I have.
Did you
I
hear
do
me
have-
complain about such things?
No,
I'm
no.
not a negative person,
No,
unlike
it's
some
very
other
good.
people who, I think everyone in this group, worship death. I don't.
Well,
I worship life. I worship fertility. There's a
We
reason.
have harmony.
Was this one of them, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
something like that.
no,
Oh, you
not
had the
that
big one.
crappy.
Yeah,
Get the
ours
big
was
one.
definitely bigger.
Okay,
the
hold
big one.
on.
The big one was the one you told us that it wasn't quite as big as it is on the
But Nisk, I worship harmony as well.
I never said I worship harmony.
He worships life.
I worship life, fertility.
harmony
This
is
one.
boring.
All
Yeah, you like harmony because that means if everything's dead, it's harmonic. That's fun.
Yes, that was the picture. So you see actually all the open shops on the front. We can convert some of them into a nice bar. You see the one on the corner, it fits perfectly. It has an entrance from the front, and then there's a ladder upstairs which we can block so nobody gets up there. So that's perfect.
So you guys are going to live in the upstairs, basically.
No, actually everything behind, because of course I want to have the courtyard with the water area and so on.
And the little shrine.
Too small for our inn.
But my shrine is in the cellar.
I agree. I think it's going to be too small, but I do believe we can certainly set up areas, be it for Taikora Tech. The White Bull needs to get that big shrine area. There's no question. But he's not going to come unless we, say that this place is yours. And I think Artcraft will probably take it back if we don't do anything.
I'm not loyal to Argras.
Yeah, but it's his house.
Yeah.
I was never for it. It was all the others who wanted to have that.
Oh, that's
Well,
so
you can tell
sad.
him. I'm still scared of him.
So does this give you guys an idea of your? So I've got a few questions about your White Bull.
Where's the vomitorium?
So what probably would be a good idea if we have these fine shops to the front is that we put, the lower ranks can drink there. So they don't actually go into that actual house. And they probably won't mind. And then we can have more higher up people who then have special areas at the back.
So you're basically saying you're turning that courtyard area with the pool into your beer garden.
No, the beer
And
garden is
slash
actually
shrine.
outside.
Beer garden / shrine. Religious beer garden.
And then we just have the cheaper beer at the front shops and the more expensive beer at the back.
Okay, last question I have. Do you rent out rooms or not? Is this an inn? Is this a bar? And the follow-up question, so not really the last question, is there entertainment?
Let's see. I'm actually an entertainer, and I believe that I have a connection. Once again, I sort of didn't mention this, is that I had an interest in joining the cult. Let me get the name of it. As a
Drogarsi.
a lay member of Drogarsi. So I think that given this, we probably have a chance to get in there. So I'm certainly willing in certain times to entertain and do that, knowing that's something that we have a chance to get money in. I am an excellent singer, and I am a passable dancer. if that's what we need. And then I am probably best at oration is my best skill. So I definitely think depending on which pieces, we can do some of that. Now, it won't all be as good for Praxians, but I do speak Praxian very well. And in terms of that. And we can also get other entertainment later if that makes sense. We want to honor the White Bull though, so I don't want it to be too dishonorable for them. But right now I'm trying to, us to survive in this area, and having lived as an orphan, I'll do what it takes.
Gina, are you going to help out on this? I believe you also have a lot of entertainment skills.
Yes, of course, I can help out on that. I'm a very good singer and a very good dancer. And from time to time, I have my sessions when maybe I have actually a room downstairs, a private cellar area where I can prepare some corpses and so on. So yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Where it's nicely cold.
It's an inn and a funeral home.
It's the Auberge Espagnol of the Praxian Plains.
Yeah, I mean, the things are, these things are close. I mean, you dance and you die.
The tavern morgue, the natural.
Boy, it's probably good I didn't spend that much time in Cerolia, because I remember it. It doesn't seem like the funnest thing. You dance and you die.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I would never say he passes in Australian, so.
Gina is from the Necropolis.
Yes.
Not from Nochit.
You dance and you die.
She actually is from Cemetery City.
Can that be the next RuneQuest t-shirt?
Cemetery City?
You dance and die.
You dance and then you die. All right, so I've got a good idea how all of you guys are functioning in C season. Are we okay with me moving ahead one full season?
Yep.
Now, I would let you guys make experience rolls for C season, but I'm actually going to ask you guys not to do that right now. I want to jump into fire season, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Because in fire season, Argrath makes the decision, because he's lost almost half his army during this period, because the Praxians go home. They're nomads. They don't hang around for this. The money is beginning to run low on Argrath's side. And the decision is made that the Lunars are weak now, or at least a lot weaker. The decision is made to invade Dragon Pass, especially after news comes that Broyan of the Hendriki, another one of the warlords in the Holy Country, was killed by the Lunars. And the Lunar army is much, much weaker than it was in the past, or at least that's the hope. And Argrath decides that he needs to put himself in Boldhome as the Prince of Sartar. It is his, he formally lays a claim to that amongst all of his troops and followers of the White Bull, and gathers about 5,000 or so, actually more than that, but several thousand Praxians, plus mercenaries, with the idea of marching on the main lunar temple in Dragon Pass, the so-called new lunar temple. And there's no question that you guys are not coming. I mean, that's a given, right? Is anybody
There's no question that we're not coming?
There's no question that you guys are not going to be going. You're going to be going.
Yeah. Okay.
Is anybody gonna desert and stay in New Pevis?
I only want to know what I learned actually from the Pevis necropolis wall on ghosts.
We will have to do that offline, if that's okay. And we are back after a refreshing break. I'm going to skip forward weeks. And the army of Argrath, which at this point consists of, let me look at my notes on this. It consists of about 1,500 bison riders, 1,000 high llamas, 1,000 sable riders, another 1,500 Impala riders, and 1,000 Sardarite mercenaries, which is what you guys, Sardarites and wolf pirates. That's may not sound like a huge number of people by modern standards, but that's what, 6,000 or so, mostly cavalry. It's a big force. And you all are camped at the oasis called Day's Rest. And so this is an oasis in Prax. It is fire season, which means this is Prax in the high summer, which, come on, Cobrast, what is Prax in the high summer like?
Hot and dry and not very conducive to people who like being on the water, I would guess.
It sucks.
That's wonderful.
So you can see from here, Day Rest, which is the oasis. There's about 10, 15 kilometers away is a big salt lake. And then there's these ancient ruins called Hender's Rest. And the Praxian forces are all going to head from Day's Rest, and the idea is to head towards the Dundielos Valley. And at the upper part of the Dundielos Valley is the new Lunar Temple. And that's maybe about another 20, 25 kilometers off the map. But does that give you guys a visual idea of where your army is? And you're riding across, or the army is moving across this hot, dry, rocky chaparral and sagebrush country. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And again, to get a visualization is that everybody here, with the exception of Neil and I, are European. Actually, Neil, you are European as well, but you've lived in the U.S. long enough that you know what I'm talking about. Claudia, I know, has been in sagebrush chaparral country, and by that I think of the Great Basin of Nevada. Or
hey, Jeff,
yeah?
Just a quick question. What's the name of the mountains right outside my door?
Oh, or Spain. An awful lot of Spain. Okay, but most of the rest of you all are Central and Northern European. I want you to get a feel. You're going through tough terrain.
Like the rurals of Brandenburg.
No.
I have been to the Spanish version. So I have some vague idea.
I have street viewed through Death Valley.
Okay.
So yes, we know what you're talking about.
All right. And the reason I just want to hammer this home is this is fire season. So it's probably 35, 40 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It's dry. Everything is dried up. And the Praxians can deal with this pretty well. And Kala can deal with this fine. Nisk, you can deal with this as long as you can roll against some Praxian skill of yours.
All right. I will roll against my infinite Praxian ability, which is probably customs is more appropriate than that. Okay. And I rolled a 4, so I'm okay there.
You're going all Lawrence of Arabia. You know,
I've lived in the way. Remember, I was exiled for 7 years out into the wilds or something.
exactly. Garen, this sucks. What kind of armor?
Worse than spending,
What?
does it suck worse than spending an entire season covered in ashes, essentially being dead?
It depends on how much armor you're wearing.
Well, I mean, I'm given that it's fairly open land, ambushes would be very difficult to organize. So I'm assuming that I'm not actually wearing that much armor.
Okay, you tell me. That's totally fine. Colbrast, how sucky.
I come from a southern climate as well, so. But it's
Hot
much
and humid,
drier.
man.
Yeah, that's true. It's much drier here, so it's really really horrible.
And Gina,
Yeah, I'm missing the humidity I have actually in my and my cold catacombs in I'm out in. So, but it is good because I made a very good decision. I brought Olgor with me because I spent so much time to train him to do my proper hairstyle. He's also very good with the fan, so he's fanning me constantly.
he's fanning you.
Yeah.
Okay. The next key question I have is the army is divided into several groups. It's divided into basically 6 groups. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to tell what they are, and you can tell me which group you're going to try to be in. There is the Bison Nation, which is probably the biggest block of the army. And that's headed by Anthony Quinn, aka Narmid. There is the next one is the High Lama Nation forces, and that's headed by Omar Sharif, aka Yazurkio. There's the Sable Riders. I'm assuming there's not a snowball's chance in hell that you're going to be part of that group, so I'm not even going to describe that further. There's the Impalas, which are pygmies, and I don't think there's any chance you guys can participate in that. There are the mercenaries, and then there's the folk all gathered around Argrath. Which group?
Argrath.
Definitely for me.
Argrath.
I could also work with the mercenaries.
You certainly could. Could you roll against your loyalty Argrath, Neil?
21. So success, almost a special.
All right, so you're able to get yourself around the group with Argrath, and that's probably about 500 or so people. Most of them are mounted, some of them are not. There's some weird shamans. There's even a couple of people on chariots. It's probably the most eclectic group of the whole force, and you all are moving forward towards Hender's Rest, when you can see lined up near the Salt Lake is a smaller army of Lunars who have all faced up. And it's a smaller army, but there is all sorts of crimson light around them. And the first question I want to have is, does anybody have the presence of mind to try to figure out where the moon is?
I always need to know that.
It's full moon.
It's full moon. That's not good.
Who picked this day?
It's a full moon. Well, this is not where the battle was supposed to be.
No.
It's a full moon. You're almost 40 kilometers away from where the battle is supposed to be. So that's
Okay.
what, for a usual army, that's maybe another 2 days away, which would have been fine. But there's all these crimson lights and crimson shadows coming out of the other side. Weird light effects. And the other thing is there's a giant with the Lunars.
Oh, there is a giant. Good.
Ooh,
That's what it
no.
looks like.
It's like a 3-bodied giant.
15 meters high.
Oh my God.
And it starts rushing into the Praxians.
Oh.
Inkala,
Yes, this is chaos. It's not even tingling.
could you roll against your sense chaos?
I don't want to fail this because that's going to be really stupid. Yeah, it's a success, but it's not a good one. But yeah.
Doesn't matter. There is chaos all over the place here. And this thing, this horrible thing. I mean, I don't know how big 15 meters sounds to you guys.
Oh, it's big.
50 feet.
It's 1.5 buses. I mean,
It's 1.5 buses time. What sort of damage do you think human beings can do to this?
Not enough.
Nothing.
And what it does, and I'm going to turn off the stop share so I can show this nicely. It reaches into it, tears off hunks of itself, and throws it at the Praxians around it. And you can see that they basically, poisonous, chaotic ooze starts dissolving them.
Do they start developing, limbs and stuff, or is it just dissolving?
It's like pouring hydrochloric acid over folk.
Oh wow!
All right, so the various Praxian groups are charging towards this. What are you guys doing? Argrath is holding, is looking at this, but is taking no action.
I'm going to rapidly don my armor.
Mm.
Just so I am ready. Whatever Argrath decides.
How about the rest of you guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna get ready for battle.
Yeah.
That's basically, I'm waiting for him to pull out his we see him do amazing things and amazing magic, and then get ready to attack at that point. The Praxians are, I'm not a Stormbow.
I'm going to see if I can use my battle ability to determine if this giant is, steered in any way from outside, or if it's just blindly charging in. Or, if I see someone who looks like he or she would be sort of influencing this giant.
Okay, roll against your battle. That's a good use of it.
Yep, 41 of 80 something. 82.
The giant is clearly being influenced. It is moving in a rational direction and causing maximum havoc amongst the Praxians. Meanwhile, from the red moon, lights start coming down. And meteors start falling down from the moon into your forces.
I have a question.
And wherever, before we get to your question, Gina, everywhere it falls, you can see people dying. And I would like at this point, Inkala, you know that this giant got a Praxian curse.
Mm.
Its name is Quim, the spawn of Thed and the devil. It is one of the most terrible chaos monsters of Prax. And the rest of you guys know the Lunars have called in what are called the Crater Makers. Now you can ask your question, Gina.
I want to know if I can use my spirit combat for something.
Yeah, well, there are spirits coming. There are spirits called loons that are heading down for the moon.
Yeah, then maybe I can keep them away.
Okay, I'm going to deal with that in a moment. What's going on right around Argrath is several of his advisors are saying for him to call upon the left hand. And he says, I already did.
Oh, that was the
assassins.
The assassins, yeah.
I cannot call upon it. It is too soon.
I've got a question.
And Argrath so you have all these people around him basically saying, call upon your left hand. And he says he can't.
I wonder whose fault that is.
They've got a lot to answer for, that's for sure.
One wants to be in their shoes.
There are meteors coming down from the sky.
Okay,
There are loons, and they are rushing towards you all.
Yes, Nisk and you other honorary pirates, which you obviously are. I think we should get to the bottom of who is controlling this giant. That would be a productive use of our time, I think. Because charging it seems ridiculous.
Can I do something against the control?
You tell me.
I don't know, with spirit combat?
You could certainly try to engage in spirit combat with the lunar elementals that are now showing up in your area. And where the lunar elementals show up and envelop people, they start screaming and tearing into their eyes.
I've got a question. Impede chaos. Is it a minus 20% to hit per rune point spent, or do you stack with regular magic points?
No, you stack with rune points.
Okay, so I can get a maximum of 60. Okay.
So what do you want to cast Impede Chaos on?
No, it's basically you cast it on your target of the spell becomes difficult for chaos creatures to hit, but I'm not sure if.
You want to cast it on yourself, on one of the players, on Argrath?
I'm thinking maybe I should cast it on Argrath.
Oh.
It's,
how far are we away from the what was it? The holy country, I think it was.
Still far away.
Too far away.
But also, I had another question about dismiss magic. Is that all? Dismiss magic, is that also a stacking with rune points, or do you stack with magic points?
You stack with rune points.
Okay. Yeah, because it could maybe possibly do a dismiss magic on the giant if it's magic.
You could.
But you have to stack it all yourself is the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And I want to tell you, this is the carnage that is going on around you all, just while you guys describe everything, is terrible.
Yeah, we would like to start.
Okay, Claudia, what are you going to do? Spirit combat?
Yes. Let's slash some spirits. Yep.
Did you succeed with your spirit combat?
Yes, I rolled a 23 on a 70.
Okay, rather than us, if it's okay with you guys, are you guys okay with me just handling this in the overall broad contours of the battle, rather than us getting it down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gina, you are actually able to dance and force some of the loons off and away from the central group around Argrath.
Mm-hmm.
you're able to do that. But that is the main thing that you're doing. You're basically sitting there and you can show me how your Doctor Strange gesture or your, yes, you're sitting there trying to keep the loons from driving you all insane. Now, those of you guys that are familiar with dealing with loons should be aware that if a loon manages to come in your presence and overcome you, you go insane. It's like Call of Cthulhu, except way faster. And lunar magic is around madness. And you can see away from Arthur, from our grass group, you can see that there are hundreds of people just having complete Call of Cthulhu style, full-fledged insanity bursts. They're going catatonic. They're attacking each other. They're screaming. They're gouging their eyes out. Gina is keeping that off you all. Kolbrast, Garen, Inkala, Nisk, what are you all trying to do? You can hear that there are people yelling at Argrath to call on the dragon. And Argrath says he can't. He's already done it.
Is there any way I can get close enough to Argrath to say, is there anything we can do to revivify you, to allow you to call on the left hand? Is it your blood or something like that?
You can go up to him. I would let you do that. How about, does anybody else want to be doing something right now? Gina's keeping you safe from the loons.
I'm waiting for the other attack, be it the assassins, be it the whatever. They wait for maximum trouble, I think, and then charge in. And I haven't seen it yet, so I'm waiting for. I'm holding for that.
Okay, and Kala?
Well, I'm itching to actually just charge the darn thing, but I know I'm smart enough not to do it, so I'm kind of awaiting the situation here. But I'm casting my. I'm doing one rune point on Argrath.
One rune point of MP Chaos?
Yeah. Yeah.
To give you an idea, in Kala, what Quim does, Quim just reaches down, grabs Praxians, and devours them. And Kolbrast, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think I'll stick to battling and trying to keep people organized despite half of them going mad.
But casting one rune point doesn't take that long, and I'm also very good at spirit combat, so I can help out after doing that. I can help out.
Roll against your spirit combat. And
yeah, not a problem.
Okay, so you and Gina are actually really important in trying to keep the loons off the group around Argrath. Kolbrast, this battle is not looking good at all. And you think Quim is bad? The meteors falling from the sky are causing as much damage as that, if not more. And Garen, Argrath says that the dragon still sleeps. He can't, he's already called upon it. He cannot awaken it further. The dragon is nearly awake, but he can't awaken it because I've already called upon it.
Can someone else call upon it?
He asks, well, there's a degree of irritated contempt from him towards that. And he says, sure, if you can can you speak with the dragons?
No, but then I just don't want to watch everybody die and be taken by chaos.
And he says, nor do I.
So I thought I would ask. Stupid question though it may have been, it was well intentioned.
How bad does Garen feel right now?
Very.
I mean,
I think he is honourable. He feels a degree of shame, but then at the same time, he wants the carnage to stop. This isn't the kind of war he came to fight.
there are meteors whistling from the sky. Ankala and Gina are able to keep the worst of the loons away from you all. You have around Argrath, there's Argrath's women are screaming for him to awaken the dragon, and he's shouting at them saying he can't do it yet. And
So we
amongst the, what was that, Neil?
We could go and tackle the wizards then, the lunar magicians that are summoning us.
Well, you guys are a little, what?
Okay, keep going.
You guys are a little bit in the rear because here where Argrath is. You can watch as the Praxians, hundreds are dying. Every round, hundreds are dying. There's craters, crater makers going down. I'm going to give to a count of 5 if anybody has a clever idea beyond what you're doing.
The dragon's not a ghost, is it?
What was that?
Is the dragon a ghost?
No.
Is it dead?
No.
It's a fetch, right? Spirit kind of thing. We don't know.
I'm with
Second sight. Could we see it and talk to it? I could make if Ankala can hold up, I could do a second sight 3 and try to see and talk to the dragon. I mean, we saw it before.
Please roll magic points times 5. Or sorry, power times 5.
Not a problem.
What you see is a kaleidoscope of spirits and magic and loons and strange chaotic things all around you. They don't seem to be willing to come within the perimeter right around you. I mean, in the perimeter right around where you all and Argrath are. But it is weird alien spirits everywhere, Claudia.
Yes, but I try to see the dragon.
And there's no dragon.
There's no dragon.
And this is the point where Argrath says, we must retreat.
Okay.
And calls for a retreat back. Ankala, are you willing to retreat? Or do you want to keep trying to fight the chaos monster?
It's not actually possible to fight the chaos monster on.
And it's just swooping. It's
conditions.
15 meters high.
Yeah, we were completely unprepared for that. Yeah, I'm feeling an itch, but I'm not stupid. So yeah, I'll go with Argrath on this. We gotta lay a plan to kill that thing.
How about you, Nisk? How are you dealing with this?
Well,
are you going to follow Argrath?
Nisk's going to follow Argrath. His loyalty is to him. And if Nisk has to take some blame or Nisk has to take some pride from it, that's okay because it's more important. Argrath's going to know that we got to fight later.
How about you, Garen? You going to die at this point, or are you going to follow Argrath?
I'm a bodyguard. I will not leave Argrath's side, however irritating he may find me.
Cobrast, I know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're going to run away, right?
Well, in an ordered fashion.
Gina?
I retreat carefully with fighting more spirits.
Okay. I'm going to knock us forward a few days when the retreat finally ends. Over half the Praxians are gone.
Ouch.
I am very busy.
When Argrath, the retreat goes all the way back to Prax, and Argrath is beyond shattered from this. I mean, there's thousands of people died in this. Many of the Praxians just leave after this. And there's recriminations constantly from people around saying, why didn't you call upon the dragon? Why didn't you wake to the dragon? And all he can say is, I couldn't.
It's true. The dragon was not there.
And this is the point where I think we want to end for the evening. It gets us we're back in New Pavis. Argrath's army has been beaten. There's no recriminations against you all. Half his forces are gone. And that's the point I would like us to go to. Unless there's something you want to do.
Do we still have our house? Or did somebody take it over?
Oh, nobody. Anybody who would dare take it over marched with Argrath.
Okay.
So,
can I just ask? So, what's the macro state of the conflict at the moment? So, obviously, Argrath took New Pavis. We then marched out and were butchered.
And tried to invade Dragon Pass.
Dragon Pass and were soundly defeated. Do we have any idea if the Lunars are gathering to try and reclaim their territory, or have they kind of expended their resources in keeping us where we are, in enforcing?
If we're willing to go forward a little bit further, it is. Do we want to stop at this point, or do you want me to go a tiny bit further?
I'm good with a tiny bit.
Tiny bit, yeah.
Claudia, we good with going a tiny bit further?
Tiny bit.
All right. How depressed do you think things are in New Pavis when you all return?
Pretty darn bad.
Yeah. Argrath's own charisma is able to keep a couple thousand of the Praxians willing to stay here, but a lot of the Praxian bands are going into Prax. And Argrath gives us, in the Orlanthi fashion, everybody gathers and there's assemblies all the damn time, and people yell at each other at assemblies and make incriminations. And one of the incriminations that Argrath constantly is given multiple times is, you can speak with the dragon. Why didn't you call upon the dragon? You could have destroyed the Lunars.
Okay, at that point, if I'm available, I am going to cast Glamour. Mm-hmm. Then I am going to cast Charisma, and I am going to try and orate. And my oration is basically saying, do not blame Argrath for what Argrath has not done. And I'm basically going to say, because of course, apologize. It's a very Orlanthi male thing to do when the bad things happen, to say that it is sad to say that Argrath cannot summon the dragon because we were unable to guard him fully from the Blackfang assassins. If you are looking for someone to blame them and blame the Lunars, or blame me, but do not blame Argrath.
Okay, sorry, I leaned back here for the audience here. Now, keep in mind,
like doing this, but to him he feels it's his dude.
Thousands of people died as a result of this.
So
you're saying it was your fault.
I'm saying to blame the Black Fang. I'm saying to blame the Lunars, but do not blame Argrath.
Out of character, should he have marched when the dragon wasn't ready?
Probably not.
He has to take some blame here.
He probably
He's
thought
definitely
that.
a character that would not occur to Garen, but I think it's worth.
Well, for a second, for a split second, but wait a minute.
I'm also very sorry. I do not take Agra's blame. I'm not loyal to him, and
You don't have to. I did.
yeah, which I don't find very smart.
It's not a matter of being smart. It's a matter of doing what I feel is right and try to make up for it. And I will offer to make up to help Argrath summon the dragon if I can.
I would offer my life to appease the spirits of the dead and to redress the wrongs I have done Argrath.
The spirits are happy. I made sure. I took care of that. Okay, as long as you do the proper sacrifices with food. Actually, their families have to do that. The spirits are happy. Don't worry about the spirits.
Well, Argrath's reaction to all of this is alternating between being depressed and violently angry at everyone around him. His comments to people are along the lines of, the dragon will waken. I have spoken to it. I could have wakened it, but I have used the left hand too much to accelerate things.
And
there's
problem of being too what do you call it? Of wanting too much too fast.
Yeah, he says the left hand. If I had but a little more time, the dragon will waken, and he defies anybody. If anyone doubts him, the dragon will waken, and that will be a sign of his of the power of the left hand.
So why did he march? Why did he leave? What's driven him out? Can I make some kind of idea roll, or
you can?
So what? Intelligence times 5
2.
or something?
Or battle,
Okay.
half battle.
Half battle. So 34. No, 45.
Cobras, do you want to try to do the same? You're good
Yeah,
at battle.
if he comes to me and says, "Why did he march?" I can try and say, "Well, as a that's 39 of 82."
Hey, Cobras, your view of it is that Argrath is like Herrick, like all wolf pirates, very much on a must go on the offensive, even if you don't have the strength. It's very much that's very much how you wolf pirates operate. You look for every weakness that the other side might have, and did not have any appreciation that the Lunars were able to throw this much strength.
He's made a mistake.
He's got
to be honest.
You got to get you get where you're going when you take these risks, though, right? I mean, if you did do this,
yes,
that's not a risk.
Thing to do.
That's just a mistake.
It's just he should have been more prepared, going for one of the main temples in an area that's bound to be a lot of opposition in that area against that temple, kind of mighty opposition as well, and then not be prepared at all for it.
But I mean, that's just what I think with my limited knowledge of the situation.
His response to anybody is that the dragon will awaken soon, and anyone, if you doubt him, he will have proof.
Okay.
Soon.
I don't really doubt him. I'm pissed off. Like, there's a cold anger in me towards my shaman who did not prepare me for this. He was playing stupid, petty games instead of actually letting me get the power to fight against the chaos like we've always spoken about, and which is the reason I've been going this path. So one of the things I'm going to do is go find him and face him and explain to him the horrors that we saw and experienced, and tell him that if he now defies me in joining and awakening my fetch, he might as well just stop, because then he's not in for the fight, he's in for his petty games.
Okay, we will carry that forward to the next session. I want to end this, though, in Earth Season. How depressed are things a season after this defeat? 8 weeks has gone by. Gina, are you even loyal to this guy anymore?
I was never loyal to this guy.
Are you even supportive of this?
And the point is, it gives me a job.
I mean, there's not a lot of activity at the White Bull Shrine after that battle.
I never was in the White Bull Shrine. I was in my own shrine in the cellar. And I was very busy actually doing all the corpses and ghost dancing and so on. So, I mean, and Argus is an interesting guy, and the thing with the dragon, it's cool, but I'm not dedicated to him.
Okay, how about the other four of you guys?
Why are you here anyway, Gina? I mean,
because it's a job. There are a lot of that. There are a lot of that, and I like actually to have the money to have the hairstyle.
That's not
it's all about the hair.
It's all about the hair.
All about the hair.
How about the other four? How about the other four? I just want to, is anybody beginning to have serious doubts?
I'm having some serious doubts. He was not able to face chaos at all, and he is the White Bull, and he actually called a retreat against really vile, all chaos is vile, but that was very disappointing. And I'm thinking, is it the right cult? Well, is the right spirit cult to follow?
How about the other three?
My loyalty hasn't wavered, but some scales have fallen from my eyes to some extent. I thought I was following, Caesar, and it turned out I was following. It's kind of the way I'm seeing it.
Neil?
Nisk actually has a little different attitude. He also believes that we failed him. He feels that guilt of now that he realizes more. And yes, I think that it's not us to blame. We're not the ones it's Black playing, but we could do more. And if I look at that, for example, as the followers of the White Bull, we didn't bring the White Bull to support him. We have not gotten that shrine. We have not done those things. And, my family left Sarder and were driven out by the Lunars. This wasn't going to be easy. I've been with Argrath for years. I've gone through the whole world. We didn't succeed every time. So I have no qualms that he's going to succeed and do well. But I do think that we've got to work a little bit on our side. And for me, I want to double down on getting that damn shrine done. And I'm going to.
And how about
do you hold the?
Well, I'm mainly loyal to him as the chieftain of the Wolf Pirates, and as such, his not sure if that's what Wolf Pirates should be doing, going around having battles, freeing lands and stuff like that. That's not really our style. So I'm a bit skeptical, I guess.
But Nisk, do you orate that? Your view of it? Yeah.
Nisk orates everything. It's kind of idiom.
Because you might be able to pull me back a bit with some of what you said.
I'm definitely, I am very willing, and Nisk is to you.
Yeah.
You feel that he will support you fully in working with this shaman.
Yeah.
He will support you in getting there. He will travel into the wastes. He will watch after your llamas as he and you herd your animals while you do your rituals. And in return, he asks that you help. You commit to the White Bull, to forming the shrine, to bringing the spirit that we need to support Argrath in the times. And I'm sure it will help us fight.
Okay. The last big question I have is anybody that's watching Argrath is actually spending even more time than normal on his smoking Hazia and discorporating.
Is that a cause for concern at all?
It's very normal, isn't it, Enkala?
It could
Or
be
he's just-
searching for something.
Or is he drowning his sorrow in Hazia?
He's trying even harder to get the spirit back, just to show.
Yeah.
That's one way of looking at it, probably.
All right, so I want to mark a negative on your loyalty, Argrath Cobrast.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
After the next scene, I'm gonna let Garen decide what how he feels about it and how Enkala feels about it. Nisk, no way, you're being totally loyal. And Gina has no loyalty. The next scene is in Earth season, around the time of the harvest. There is a giant thunder from the west. Everybody in the city looks to see what's going on. There is this huge rolling sound from the west. And the west of towards Sartar, towards Dragon Pass. And there is everybody in the city comes out to see what's going on. And there is a brown line rising from the horizontal up into the sky. I want everybody to make a power ×5 roll.
Success, 21.
Yeah,
Success.
Yep.
22.
90.
90?
Yeah, it's actually a power ×5 because I have an 18 power.
So you succeed.
Yep.
You see a true dragon rising from where you all were. It's like 8 kilometers long.
Wow.
This is, if we were playing Call of Cthulhu, I would force you all to make sanity checks. This is a huge thing rising, and it is just a wave after wave of you look at this and you can feel it in your mind.
Is this Argrath's dragon?
And it's a huge dragon rises into the sky, and you can see rock and everything falling down. And you look at the horizon of where it was. This was the direction you were marching towards.
But Agris is here.
What?
But Agris is here.
But how often did he talk about the dragon was going to be wakened?
Yeah, but I don't know.
I want you to imagine what it would be like to see something 8 kilometers long rise slowly into the sky. Rich, how would you imagine this would look like?
I imagine it's like seeing a mountain range suddenly decide it didn't like the angle the sun was hitting it.
Yes.
And just begin to slowly rotate. Well, any doubts? I feel like I might need to make some kind of penance for ever doubting, even misjudging his military tactics right now.
How about you, Enkala? What? This is the biggest thing you have ever seen move in the world. Actually, to be honest, even for the point of view of somebody of the 21st century, I've never seen anything 8 kilometers long move into the sky.
No, I'm trying to visualize like an entire mountain range.
It's a mountain.
Moving. So yeah.
And it flies up into the sky and blocks the red moon. And it's flying towards the moon.
was going to eat it.
and actually for a while eclipses the moon.
And then?
Well, I want to move forward to the rest of you all. Cobra,
Okay.
let's deal with Nisk. What is Nisk's reaction?
Nisk thinks this is Argrath's dragon. Nisk is right on, and he's very excited, and he's like, you know, I mean, if you could tell, I guess he's looking to see Argrath's not around, so he's not going to be able to see him. I don't know if Argrath came out or anything.
Argrath is on a 6-week-long Hazia bender.
All right, so he thinks it's related to that. So he's pretty. Anything that blots out the red moon is a great for him in dealing with those guys.
Gina?
Second sight.
The distance of this is like 200 kilometers away.
I talked to the ghosts.
Are you going to spend a rune point?
Yes.
Even the ghosts are aggravated. There's something wakening up.
Okay.
Something has been awakened. How about you, Cobrast?
Yeah, I'm getting slightly uneasy because, you know, having seen Argrath being angry and now he might have this huge dragon at his beck and call. Yeah, it's going to be a dangerous time.
This is the event called the Dragon Rise. And a true dragon, for the first time in centuries, woke up, rose into the sky. And all of the accounts say that it rose into the sky, flew towards the red moon. The Lunar Empire managed to repel it at terrible cost. And beneath where the dragon rose is where the new lunar temple was. And all of the forces of the Lunar Empire and Dragon Pass was based. And Argrath only been, and this is what will end it, Argrath comes out of his Hazia haze, probably wearing nothing but a loincloth, still high as a kite, and says, "It's woken." And that's where I would like to end this session. I hope that's a good cliff point.
Yep.
So with that, I want to thank everybody for a wonderful game, and let's turn off the recording.
Great, thank you.